異星人は確かに高度のテクノロジーを所有しているが、その進歩したテクノロジーは彼らの安全を常に保証するとは限らない。1989年、1機の UFO がアフリカのカラハリ砂漠で撃墜された。その UFO は南アフリカの国境に広がる砂漠に高速で激突し、直径180メートル、深さ12メートルという巨大なクレーターを掘り開けた。軍の公式文書によれば、1989年5月7日、未確認飛行物体が南アフリカ共和国の上空を侵犯。ジェット戦闘機ミラージュがスクランブル発進した。戦闘機の呼びかけに応答しないその UFO は、戦闘機搭載のレーザー砲の砲撃を受けて被弾、高度を失い、砂漠に撃墜された。
After the craft was retrieved, it was removed to a secret Air Force base, and on arrival at this base, it was found a door had partially opened in the side of the craft. Hydraulic pumping gear was brought to the scene, and the door was forced open. When this was done, 2 aliens staggered out of the craft, and it was found that one appeared to be seriously injured. They were immediately arrested and removed to a medical centre, where a medical team was sent in to try to assist. The authorities at the scene entered the UFO, and hieroglyphics were found inside the machine, alien hieroglyphics, of course, and various items of electronic equipment were also removed from the craft. The retrieval team from America arrived eventually, and the object plus the aliens were eventually taken by C5 Galaxy transporters back to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, where further analysis was taken on.
現場に駆けつけた軍は UFO の中に入って実況見分を行い、兵器とおぼしき器物や装置を取り外した。それは後に科学調査により立証された。同時に一連の象形文字が発見された。これにより彼らも文字による通信手段を持つことが証明されたが、いまだにその文字は解読できていない。UFO 内で発見されたデータはシリコンスライド上に記録されていた。推進システムをはじめとする高度のテクノロジーに誰もが驚嘆した。異星人が所有する驚くべきテクノロジーが我々の手中に入り、科学者がその解明を行えば、その推進システムを使って宇宙への進出が可能となるであろう。空の守護者を自称するアメリカ海軍沿宇宙司令部は、地球周辺の宇宙空間に存在する全ての物体の探査任務を追っている。彼らは5万キロ離れた距離にあるフットボール大の小さな物体でも確認と追尾が可能と主張し、未確認軌道物体も多数探知している。その種の物体は3ヶ月で6000個に上るという。彼らの探査任務の範囲は地球大気圏外に限られ、それ以下のレベルの空中の監視は北米防空司令部ノーラッドによって行われている。さらに巨大な電波望遠鏡が世界各地に設置されていて、100光年の遠方まで操作できる。この宇宙探査ネットワークは広大な宇宙空間から地球に向かってやってくるいかなる物体も確認と追跡が可能である。物体が地球に近づく全工程がモニターされ、その物体が地球に着陸あるいは墜落するや、すぐさまその現場まで特殊部隊の緊急出動が行われる。この防衛システムはロズウェル事件後に設置され、その時から精密な捜索と回収作戦ができるようになっている。緊急出動部隊は世界中の戦略拠点から出撃でき、現場に到着するや直ちにそこを周囲から切り離して一般市民に察知されないようにするのだ。
All over in NATO, they are interested. It's generals and colonels. The Americans are interested. The English are interested. Everybody knows about it. I was one in Wiesbaden with one of the squadrons down there, and I worked with a colonel. And one afternoon, I was going to nearby town, I don't remember the name. And I went to the office in civil clothes to pick up something, and he was sitting there. Hey, Major, he said, where are you going? I'm going to city. What is that? He pointed. I had my badge here with a flying saucer on my blue jacket. I said, what? That, damn it, that. I said, nothing. It's a flying saucer. I said, it couldn't be. You Americans have proven they don't exist. Shut up, he said. He took the telephone and rang. Jack, Pete, come on now. And in a sudden, we had 5 officers and himself. And we talked for 3 hours. And they knew exactly as much as I did. So everybody knows about it. And it is not illegal. And you are not disliked. I have talked with generals for hours, not on my purpose. They asked me to talk with them about it. They have received my magazine, UFO Contact, for years. So they are interested, but since the public opinion is secrecy, they can't go any further.
UFO の世紀が始まってから長い歳月が経ったが、その調査研究の内容は依然として一般市民には一切公開されていない。しかし情報の隠匿にもかかわらず、世界中何百万にも上る人々が大気圏内を飛ぶ UFO を目撃し、さらに多くの人々が異星からの飛行装置の存在を知っており、 UFO の実在を確信している。
I think what has happened over the years, the government has lied so much that they have painted themselves into a corner, and it's almost impossible for them to tell the truth today.
The biggest secret in the history of mankind, and the government is not going to let this out. There is no way to get anything out under the Freedom of Information Act.
ペレストロイカ以降のソ連ではさまざまな情報が公開され、 UFO についても開放的であった。マリナ・ポポビッチはかつて優秀な宇宙飛行士であり、戦闘機パイロットであった。ソビエト連邦の軍事英雄として2度も表彰され、現在は UFO 研究家として知られている。
10 лет назад еще эту тему высмеивали, как я уже говорю, но никто не сделал это талантливо. Сейчас к этим вопросам УФО относятся очень положительно. В большинстве своем 80% людей верят в то, что есть внеземной разум. И верят в то, что к нам стремится внеземной разум для установления двусторонних контактов.
もともとソ連では UFO 問題は他の国より開放的で、 UFO 専門のテレビ番組を月に1度放送している。また近い将来この問題を学ぶ特別学科も大学に設置される予定である。軍の将官の何人かが UFO の正体は歴然としていると言明し、 UFO は異星人の宇宙船であるとすでに断定しているほどである。
At the Center for UFO Studies, we have a computerized data bank that now has more than 75,000 UFO reports on it. And what is even more interesting, they come from, by latest count, from 133 countries. When you start reeling off the countries, it sounds like a roll call at the United Nations. And even more interesting, and the just numbers themselves don't mean so much, but the thing that finally convinced me that we were not dealing with nonsense is basically the caliber of the witnesses. Many of the reports are made by highly responsible people, impeccable integrity, people in technical training, air traffic controllers and military and commercial pilots. Finally got to the point, and it took me quite some time. I finally got to the point, however, where I simply said, I can't continue to call these people deluded or nuts. They are seeing something. Something is real.
The late J. Allen Hynek was an astronomer, just like I am. His background and mine are very similar. He was for many years a professor of astronomy, and so was I. And what Hynek said was, UFO research is leading us kicking and screaming into the science of the 21st century. Like Hynek, I sought to debunk the reality of UFO phenomena, and like him, discovered just the opposite.
世界を見回すと、過去50年でテクノロジーは急速に進歩した。しかし、その多くは国家機密とされ、進歩の実態は一般市民の目から隠蔽されている。 このような状況からステルス爆撃機が誕生した。このステルスはレーダーにかからず飛行できる現在唯一の隠密性航空機で、ほとんど音もなく飛行することができる。その製作に用いられたハイテクは飛躍的な進歩を示している。そのような技術は一体どこから入手されたのか。ネバダ砂漠にある政府の秘密実験施設で奇妙に輝く発光物体が定期的に目撃されている。それは空中で通常の航空機には到底不可能なアクロバット飛行をやってのける。これもまた秘密の高度技術の産物なのだろうか、あるいは異星人の UFO そのものの実験が行われているのであろうか。ドリームランドという名でも知られるこのエリア51は、アメリカでも最も厳戒態勢が取られている秘密施設である。物理学者のボブ・ラザーはこの秘密の基地で特殊プロジェクトに従事していた。そこで見たことを暴露してもらおう。
They are actively and have in their possession alien spacecraft, and they are actively undergoing analysis and flying them. They set up and produce their own gravitational field. Just as the Earth holds all matter down, they produce that same field, but out of phase, and it repels itself. The effects that can cause the way in which everything operates is by all intents and purposes magic. I mean, it is so far beyond our level of technology.
どうしてそのようなハイテクが人類すべてのために利用されないのか。我々には知る権利がないというのか、あるいは技術的優位を秘密にしておくことがそれほど重大なことなのか。人類史上最も重大な事態をどうして当局は隠そうとするのだろうか。やっぱり異星文明との接触がすでにあって、そこで何か取り決めが行われたのだろうか。いずれにせよ人類史上最大の大事件である。広大な距離が災いして恒星間宇宙旅行は不可能のように思えるが、しかし人類の飽くなき努力と英知によって過去常にそうであったように、この障害も遠からず克服されるだろう。科学的推測では近い将来21世紀の初期には宇宙旅行も可能と弾き出されている。距離の問題がクリアされれば地球は我々のふるさととなり、大宇宙は我々の世界となるだろう。
Point of physics, there are possible models today which may enable shortcuts in the space-time continuum. One of these shortcuts may be black holes. Black holes are the remainder of very large stars which have collapsed to a so-called singularity. And when stars do collapse to a singularity, they leave a tunnel, a gravitational tunnel behind, a rotating tunnel. And in this tunnel, space and time has a completely different meaning than to the normal usage that we make of space and time. Thus, in a tunnel, the so-called Einstein-Rosen bridge, time runs backwards. So a spacecraft which would dive into such a tunnel would move forwards in space and backward in time.
When we talk about hyperspaces and opening up the number of dimensions, and if we were to build a vehicle, if our science has progressed to this point, our technology, the applied science, if we develop a vehicle that is capable of doing that, traveling across the universe is not traveling through one space. It's flipping into these other spaces where the other one is only a short space away, a few inches away. And so you're talking about flipping rather than going like an arrow through a space-time or a bullet. You simply flip and flip back, and there you are. And so with the control of flipping, you could flip from here, and then you could flip up into the third or fourth dimension, higher than this 3. And you could flip back into this dimension, this space-time, only you could flip several galaxies away. You could jump between galaxies.
The third possibility may be dematerialization. Science fiction authors have always mentioned this possibility, and although this may be utopia to us today, sometime in the future it may be possible to dematerialize a spacecraft into pure energy and then beam the spacecraft, the speed of light, to another solar system where it would materialize again, reassemble again, thus bridging these vast distances.
If we have a hyperspatial model, then simply by turning in another direction, a right angle, we would lose one dimension. When we turn 3 right angles, we lose all 3 dimensions. And that would be called full dematerialization. As far as we're concerned, when you turn 1 dimension, you would have lost one dimension, your length, and so you would appear to be a flat plane. You would appear to be a light form. By the way, some 83% or so of the UFO phenomena are just lights at night anyway. Most researchers throw those away. Those are the interesting cases. And particularly interesting are the cases where the light forms materialize into material forms and then dematerialize back into light forms and then fade away. And what I maintain is that you're looking at that phenomenon when you're seeing that. Now, that can be described mathematically, but that phenomenon of the hyperspatial aspects of it does exist, and you can show it. And I printed a photograph that showed the stars right through a dematerializing so-called spaceship. And so you do meet that format, and that is part of the phenomenon.
もし NASA の計画が実現すれば、次の世代の多くは火星の住人となるだろう。その計画は宇宙ステーションの開発とともにもう始まっており、それは人類が大宇宙の住人となる本格的な第一歩と言える。
What is really the long-range purpose of the space station? And we have worked on that question for a long time in NASA. We have started in the early 60s under the guidance of Dr. Werner von Braun and others to look at long-range goals beyond the moon, beyond Mars even. And only recently, in fact it was July 20th, 1989, the 20th anniversary of the landing of Apollo 11 on the moon, that President George Bush proposed a new program, a long-range program, with a goal to return to the moon and eventually go on to Mars, to the United States, as a long-range commitment. And as we develop the space station itself will be used as a test bed, as a laboratory to test new technologies. And you need space to develop those technologies. As long as we are still on Earth, we can just talk about it. The question of which technology to use for this new, what we call the Space Exploration Initiative, that's the name, SEI, Space Exploration Initiative, what technology to use in the area of propulsion or life support or materials and structures and power and communications is being analyzed and investigated by NASA right now. And we're doing it in a number of categories. We're looking at present-day technologies, tomorrow technologies, and advanced technologies which are day after tomorrow.
過去には SF に過ぎなかったものが現在は現実に近くなっている。 NASA のジェスコ・フォン・パットカマーはスタートレックのプロデューサージャン・ロッデンベリーのアドバイザーであった。
You know, the reason I worked with Gene Roddenberry was because he wanted us to help him portray a future 200 years from now as we would like it to be. Very positive, technology having become our friend instead of our enemy, technology as a partner of humans. And of course the story itself of this machine, Voyager or Voyager, looking for its maker, its creator, which is really a metaphor of humans looking for their God. And it's the God-seeker story. And so he wanted NASA to show that the technology which the movie and his TV series depicts is accurate, that the physics is accurate, that the mathematics is accurate, that the astronomy is accurate. The propulsion system of the Star Trek consists of two major elements. One is the energy source, just to provide energy, which is the antimatter system. That makes sense. That could be done. but the propulsion itself to push the ship, it's called a warp drive, and that has to do with changing space itself and flying faster than the speed of light. We know what antimatter is, and that when you have antimatter and real matter and it comes together, you get a tremendous explosion, you get tremendous energy, E equal mc square, as Einstein said. And so this is the most powerful reaction you get in the universe, therefore the Starship Enterprise uses it.
So there are a number of models which are feasible for interstellar or even intergalactic travel. Nevertheless, we must be clear about one point. There may be so many possibilities we can't even think of. So at the moment we have theoretical models, but a highly advanced civilization, another solar system, much older than we are, may have discovered fantastic ways of traveling among the stars. And for them it may be like traveling from London to New York, traveling from Epsilon Eridani to the solar system.
異星人からのメッセージは次第に明らかになりつつある。人類は解決不能の諸問題を抱えており、進む方向を変えることが必要である。それこそが明るく豊かな未来を約束するのだ。
They are here to warn us. They started this program a couple of thousand years ago. They are very highly technical and spiritual advanced. These people have a technique that they can foretell development in cosmos for centuries. And they knew thousands of years ago what were going to happen on Earth. So they prepared for that situation. And we go forward to our time. Now they are here in our atmosphere in large numbers. They have always been here, but now they are here in large numbers to look over what we are doing, simply because they know that we'll kill ourselves in many ways. If we don't push the button, we'll be killed by poison. If we don't kill each other by poison, we'll kill each other by too many people. Overpopulation. Or many other reasons.
エネルギーは文明社会の生命液だが、コントロールして使うべき道具でもある。
They are flying on what we call free energy. They take it out of cosmos and fly on it. And you could do the same with your boat, your car, your machinery. Everything on Earth could be completely free. Do you think that the oil companies and the coal companies and the atomic and so on and so forth would accept it? Never.
さまざまな問題があるにもかかわらず、我々は宇宙エネルギーへの新しいコンセプトを得た。